Hi, I'm Rich with Inside HPC, and I'm here with Natalie Bates from the EE-HPC Working Group, right?
Very
So
good.
that's all about energy efficiency, is it not?
It is.
Okay, so, we're talking about Green 500, Top 500, and why is it important, first of all, Natalie, to measure energy and energy efficiency?
Well, the primary reason that it's so important is because supercomputers take a lot of energy. It costs a lot to run a supercomputer from an energy perspective, and that is not going away. It's only going to get worse. In fact, we know from the exascale timeframe that power is the major constraint. We've got this 20 megawatt target that we don't want to exceed. Well, that target actually is based on power, and it's based on just how much it's going to cost. $20 million a year operating cost is about all we can afford. So power is a design constraint, it's a consideration. The only way to, today our fastest supercomputer, is on the order of 12 megawatts. So we're pretty close to the 20 megawatt, and we're 10 petaflops, right? So we're pretty close to the 20 megawatt target as it is. Mm-hmm. So we're going to need to figure out how to get to that space and make a lot of power, make a lot of energy efficiency improvements. And from an engineering perspective, the only way to improve anything is to measure it.
Sure. So why is it important to measure it in a consistent fashion across different systems?
So we want to do architectural comparisons to be able to know what works and what doesn't work from an energy efficiency perspective. And the only way to do that is if we know what's in the watt mm-hmm. and can define, when we say that something takes so much energy, we know what that means. Today, when we say that we get a certain performance for LINPACK on the Top 500, say, we know it's scripted, we know what's meant by that. Mm-hmm. But when we say that it's a 12 megawatt system, we don't necessarily know what's in that 12 megawatts. Did it include the storage subsystem, for instance? Was it an instantaneous power measurement, or was it an average energy measurement, or an energy measurement over the full run? So there are a lot of questions. Was it based on one node and then it just multiplied out, extrapolated to the whole system? So there are a lot of ways that power is being measured and reported today, and it's not an apples-to-apples comparison.
Sure. So what about the Top 500? I mean, they do use as a metric some kind of power measurement, do they not?
The Top 500 does ask people to submit their power measurements, and approximately half of the people actually do report power numbers either to the Top 500 or the Green 500 or both. And so we are getting a lot of power measurements. We don't necessarily know that they're an apples to apples. In fact, we know they're not an apples to apples reporting. But that data does exist, and it has existed now for about 4.5, 5 years.
Okay, are more and more starting to report on the Top 500 towards that goal of 100%?
I think we are on, more people have been. It's been a slow increase. However, I think we're on the cusp of a pretty exponential increase in power reporting. I think that within the next year, we're going to see close to, we're at that 50% level today. I think we're going to see close to 70, maybe 80% within the year, maybe higher, hopefully, because we have a bunch of people who are working on it together, because people feel that we actually are making progress on defining what's in the what. And in fact, we have a BOF at ISC tomorrow where we have 5 early adopters who have taken a power measurement methodology that we've defined and tried it out. The early adopters are Oak Ridge, Livermore and Argonne National Lab, DOE laboratories in the United States, as well as Leibniz Supercomputing Center and Université Laval, Calcul, Quebec is the third one, so or the fifth one rather. So we have actual real data. They tried the methodology. I can tell you they did find some problems, and we will be revising the methodology, and we're asking for input from the community. But so it's really getting out there where people are actually more and more concerned about making sure that we're working together on this and that we're moving forward. And I think that between the user community and the vendor community, there'll be that kind of an interest, and we will have the numbers reported in the next year or so.
Okay. So kind of a wrap up here. If my HPC organization hasn't been reporting this stuff, or maybe they don't know how to measure it, how can your working group help?
Oh, they can write me and ask me for help, and I have people who would be glad to walk them through the process, just in the interest of getting this off the ground and getting going.
Oh, terrific. Well,
yeah.